Discombobulation. Isn't that a great word? I love discombobulation. It is very much how I'm feeling today, and I think JT is too. We are discombobulated. And it started first thing this morning because our normal Sunday routine is to order breakfast from our local Jack in the Box. We've done this for so long now that they know exactly who we are. And we've got kind of a cute little relationship going with the current employees at the local Jack in the Box, where it's a little bit of a mutual appreciation society. But we're trying to get it delivered by DoorDash because who wants to get up and get dressed on a Sunday morning to go out? But for some reason, that wasn't working right. So JT went out to pick up breakfast, and it turns out DoorDash was working just fine. The app was working just fine. Don't know why it wasn't working for us. And that was just the first of our challenges for the day because we had our breakfast, sat down to do our weekly podcast, and our routine is to record the video portion using JT's phone. We use my phone to record the audio. And we're going along, I think we were 10 or 15 minutes into the podcast. And for some reason, JT's phone just shut off. It stopped recording. I mean, it completely went out of the camera app. So that was a little bit bizarre. And then we restarted that and finished our podcast. We actually started the whole thing over and did it from the beginning. And as we were getting ready to transfer the files, so the video podcast goes up on YouTube on JT's channel, and then we put the audio of the podcast up on Spotify. And I was trying to transfer AirDrop the audio file from my phone to JT's MacBook. And for some reason, it just wouldn't recognize. And this has not happened before because we do this every week and we've had no problems transferring the file. But for some reason today, it didn't want to work. So we tried to transfer it from my phone to his phone to the MacBook, and it changed the file extension. So it was not something that was supported in the way he usually uploads that to Spotify. And then he was checking out the audio file and found out that for some odd reason, the end of the podcast didn't record. So it cut off about 15 minutes of the end of that recording. So after the video cut off after the first 15 minutes, the audio cut off after the last 15 minutes, or cut off the last 15 minutes. And we have no idea why. So I think what JT ended up doing is that Spotify now allows video. So I think he just uploaded the video to Spotify as well because I don't know what happened to the audio. We've never had that problem before. And then JT was trying to get everything uploaded. That was creating some challenges for some odd reason. So this morning was one technical issue after another. And that just made us both feel a little discombobulated. Then we went to our Sierra Arts Literary Community meeting in Reno. We actually just got home from that. So it is currently it's about 20 till 5 in the evening. So it's almost dinner time. And the Sierra Arts meeting was supposed to have a specific topic for this month, but they had to cancel that due to reasons. I'm not sure about the details and it's not really important, but the original topic that was planned for this month was a no-go. So we ended up having an ice cream social and just chatting and doing some readings and things like that. So it was a little off kilter, discombobulated there too. And we've had weather coming in. So it was a very oppressive day yesterday. We did get some rain last night, but then this morning it was oppressive again. So, and I think a bird just flew by my window. As you can see, it feels like this day is just conspiring to make us feel a little bit off or a little bit discombobulated. And sometimes it can be challenging when you have to pivot, especially multiple things happening one right after the other. So today has not been the day I planned at all, and for obvious reasons. So I just decided to come on here and talk about being discombobulated because I really am. I just don't know what the heck is going on. If there's something in the atmosphere, it just feels very strange and off kilter today. So it is something that I think we don't deal with, at least JT and I don't deal with it as often nowadays because we spend so much of our time just kind of doing our own thing when we want to do it. And for the most part, doing things like recording our podcasts, we very rarely have any kind of technical issues. The few challenges we've had, we have interviewed, I don't know, 24 or more authors at this point. And we use an app called Riverside to do these recordings so that it's something along the lines of Zoom. It's where we're doing these interviews virtually. And Riverside records on our computer and it records on the person at the other end of the line. So there are two separate recordings that then get uploaded and compiled in the cloud. And for the most part, it works great. But when we were first starting out, for some reason, and it's very strange because we have actually interviewed people in the United Kingdom, people in Costa Rica, people in South Korea. The two people that we had issues with were nearby. They were up in the mountains at Lake Tahoe. I think one of them might have been at Truckee and one of them might have been at North Lake Tahoe. So we're wondering if part of the issue might have been that maybe there was some kind of interference based on internet connection. In the mountains, it might have been a little bit, I don't know, spotty, like not consistent internet connection. And Riverside is great as long as you have a good internet connection. If you don't, it can be a challenge because it is a resource hog and it is something that we often, we actually have a tech sheet that we send to our guests before they do the interview so that they know how to use Riverside. They don't have to download it or anything, but it is something that needs to be the only tab open on their computer. They can't have email or anything else open. And they need to make sure that they, just don't do anything else aside from the recording while we are doing the recording, because otherwise the computer might stop. And we had that happen with, I can't remember if it was one author or two that we actually had to re-record. For the most part, though, the people overseas, no problem. We recorded them with no issues whatsoever. So we are very happy using Riverside, and that was not our issue because we weren't using it for today's podcast. We were doing the Apple, regular camera on our iPhones, and the MacBook you would think would not be an issue because I record the audio for our podcast in something called GarageBand. And it's made for people who want to create music, but you can record just regular audio and upload that. So that's what we do. And it's usually a very simple process. And for some odd reason, today it just wasn't working right. So, we've been through a lot of technical stuff since we've been doing this. We started podcasting in, it was 2021. So I think it's been 5 years now. And we've done well over 400 episodes, I think, at this point, and a lot of author interviews. And really, we have very few technical issues. So the fact that we actually had issues with our podcast that JT and I did just sitting across the dining room table from each other today was very strange. And I don't know, it just feels like there's something in the air today. And I think that we all go through days like that sometimes you, as a lot of people used to say, I don't know if it's still a thing, but just getting up on the wrong side of the bed. And for some reason, everything just feels off for the rest of the day. It's definitely been how today has felt. And it's, considering I mentioned that we've had a series of earthquakes and things here, and that didn't even throw me off as much as these technical issues that we had this morning, because there were so many of them just back to back to back. And it's not like I'm upset or frustrated or anything. It just feels weird. So I am discombobulated. But I'm hoping that tomorrow morning things will dawn all nice and fresh and bright and everything will work the way it's supposed to. And then we can just move on. But in the meantime, today is kind of a wash. I'm not getting any editing done. And unfortunately, I did not get back to it yesterday either because I wasn't feeling well with all the weather. Despite saying that I could work through a weather headache, that didn't end up being the case. So I still need to do quite a bit of editing, and I'm hopeful that tomorrow will be a big editing day. So I hope that tomorrow does not turn out to be another discombobulated day because I really don't want to go through this again. I will say, though, that we did have a lot of fun at the Sierra Arts Literary Community meeting. It's always good. We have interviewed a lot of the people who are members of the group for our podcast. So it's always fun to walk in, and it's like we're all a group of friends now. I remember very distinctly the first time I went into the meeting. I am always very anxious around new people that I don't know. And it's like night and day now because very anxious for my first meeting. I think we've been going for 2 years now, or it will be 2 years this summer. And we walk in now and everybody's just like, "Hey, how you doing? Good to see you." And then we start chatting about things we're working on, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm sure we all have those kind of groups or friends or things where it's like we see this group once a month, but we do take breaks. We won't be having a meeting in June or July. Instead of a June meeting, we're actually having a book festival. So we will be seeing them, but it won't be our regular meeting. And so we don't see these people on a daily basis, but it's still like when we see them from month to month, it's like we were just, chatting the other day and you pick right up where you left off. And I know there are people who have friends that they haven't probably talked to in years. And it's just something where you just become so comfortable with them that it does feel like you have a never ending conversation and you can just pick up no matter how long the break has been. So it's nice to go to that group and actually see our fellow authors in person and just chat. And we do fun things like raffles and we talk about writing related things. And it is a very worthwhile group to belong to. So I think both JT and I really enjoy being a member of the Sierra Arts Literary Community. We're really happy to be doing the podcast that we do in collaboration with the Sierra Arts Foundation, though we've had a bit of a break because no one has really had anything they want to discuss for a while. There is a core group of authors who tend to attend these meetings, and since that core group is somewhat small, they don't want to keep coming on the podcast repeatedly. So we're always open to interviewing someone if they have a new book coming out or something, but we went through pretty much everybody already. So we're waiting for the next round of people to have book releases and things that we can chat about on the podcast. In the meantime, with our regular podcast, JT and I have kind of been toying with the idea of taking off time from interviewing other authors over the summer at least, because it can be very time consuming. JT has to coordinate with the person on the other end. And as I mentioned, they can be in other parts of the world, so it can be very challenging to match up time zones. And there can be a lot of different things that might come up. So I think he really needs a break from that. And I think once I get these 2 books in hand, one of the things that I plan to do is to kind of get caught up on a few things because I've dropped our newsletter. Our social media is a mess, so I need to get that in line and make sure it's all very consistent. And then I want to go to JT's basically YouTube channel and organize our podcasts, because right now they're just posted. We don't have any playlists or anything. So I'm hoping to organize maybe those into seasons to make them a little bit more interesting. So I'll put links to the podcasts in case you're interested, because